thank you so much for being there on day three. It is important because when you're actually meeting people, it's always having meeting on the day three is good. And so that said, we'll get going. We'll start. My name is Imtiaz Hussain. And do you have creatives up there, please? Okay. So the last person on the, it's not me. I'm the moderator, but she could not make it, so I'm being asked to help this out. And so we'll have a bunch of panelists coming in, and I'll quickly start off. Shaurya from Funcell Games, please welcome him if we can have. And then we have Raj from JPM 360. The first question is, what is JBM 360? I'll ask that. Okay. Oh, wow, wow. Just become master. It's like BYD. BYD, you know, right? What BYD? The cars, electric cars. Build your dream. JBM 360. That's brilliant. Then we have also the local hero, Prashanth from Highbrow Interactive, please. And the first question I'm asking him is that what is the best parota place that I have to go right after this? So please welcome. And my name is Imtiaz Hussain, and we'll get going. Please, can you raise your hand if you guys hear us okay? Okay, fine. Cool. We're going to keep this a little interactive and having conversations more onto the publishing side. Um, and more importantly, these guys have done this throughout their career and some amazing stories. I think to a certain extent, it inspires many of us here who are sitting because we are in the journey of building games which would be chart topping, and sometimes you try to, take support from the other publishers, but eventually doing yourself too. So before that, how many of you are attending IGDC for the first time? Yeah, that's pretty solid. So spending like 30 seconds on what IGDC is. IGDC is an event which is in 17th edition. It's a non-profit event, all being organized by volunteers from the industry. Like every year, a bunch of people come together and oh, we want to do this. We want to help you in this. So like this year, we have like 68 volunteers coming in from multiple companies. Either they are founders or they are working for some other company and then doing it. So they help in building this, and it's a non-profit event, as you all know. And thanks to our sponsors who have been really helpful in organizing this. That said, like I said, my name is Imtiaz Hussain. I've been into gaming industry for quite some time. I'm also a volunteer here, and then I have a bunch of lovely people here. I would like you guys to like give your introduction, what you do, and if you can also talk about any book that you're reading, or do you recommend, or any OTT show that you're watching that you recommend to the folks here, and if you want to keep that in 60 seconds or so.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Raj from JBM 360. We usually work in the mobile gaming market. We mostly make hybrid games. Till now, we have made more than 55 games, and out of the, I would say the highlight would be we have launched 2 games with Voodoo. So yeah, that would be my intro. And regarding the book part, I would say I'm not a really strict guy, so I prefer to have Atomic Habit as my preferred book. And
I'm so indisciplined. I want those atomic habits. I understand
okay,
that. I love that book. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not into OTT mostly. I usually watch Marvel movies. Yeah.
And Shaurya?
So I'm Shaurya from Funcell Games. We're a mobile game development studio based in Ahmedabad. We've published 20 games with around 400 million downloads. And we were a game development studio, but last year we transitioned to a publisher. So we're working with studios all around India and all over the world actually to market games and promote them all over the world. I lead a narrative wing at Funcell. So we make idle games, we make clicker games, and we make narrative games. So I lead a narrative wing at Funcell. And so your OTT question, I see a lot of TV shows where I can see the character progression. So that helps me with my game. So it's become a problem that shows may be kaam ka wo aa gaya, but yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love that job, you what if your boss is calling? No, I'm working. I'm watching Shaurya television. So I understand.
Playing
What,
games is also the same, na? I'm
yeah, I
always
agree.
working.
I mean, I when I got into a gaming company and I was making my friends in the college jealous that you know what I'm getting paid for playing games. So I can imagine that. So that's pretty good. Thanks, Shaurya and Prashant.
Uh, Hi, I'm Prashanth Krishnan. I'm the CPO and co-founder of Highbrow Interactive. We are a Chennai-based studio. We've been around for over 12 years now. We primarily make realistic driving simulation games. So we have a couple of train simulators. You may have heard of Indian Train Simulator. We recently crossed 50 million downloads on that game. And we are currently actively supporting another game called Truck Masters India. And with regards to working with publishers, we have a game with a publisher named Boombit that's currently in soft launch. It's a idle tycoon game called Rest Stop Tycoon. And regarding the OTT question, I barely get to watch anything these days. But the book I have been not reading, listening on Audible is Thinking in Systems. That's a book that got.
Say the name again.
It's called Thinking in Systems.
Okay.
Got recommended to us by the Google team during the accelerator, and it's been amazing.
That's pretty good. And are you saying that you're not watching OTT because some of your team members are here, or?
Barely
Okay,
get
cool,
to.
great. We're gonna, before that, can I have some lay of the land here to understand you know, what kind of audience we have here? How many of you are already partnering with a publisher? And already, okay, and or should I ask this question the other way? How many of you would like to work with a publisher? Is that an aspiration that you guys have? Okay, fine, great. So looking at that, you know, I would like to understand. The debate comes in and says that you know, do I work with publisher or should I do it myself, right? And what are your thoughts on that, Raj and you know, Shaurya, you can talk about it.
Okay, I would say if you are a small team, just go with publisher because organic downloads are dead nowadays. We don't find organic downloads very easily. So I think it would be a nice idea to go with the publisher if you have a smaller team. But if you are good at UA and if you have some funds, you can go with the self-publishing as well.
And what makes you take that decision and apart from these two criteria? I mean, is that also a genre, or is it like, you know what, I'm very good at building and I'll just go ahead and build it and have someone to take the headache of user acquisition? Is that how it makes it, or with respect of genre, or it's like, you know what, it's more on the decision of the team and being small and not having UA fund?
Yeah, actually, when I started, I don't have the UA fund as well. Also, my team was quite small to go with the self-publishing. So we decided to go with publisher, and it goes quite well.
Certainly. And Shaurya, in your case also, you have been, um, you have two businesses, I mean, two sides of business, both self-publishing and also, you know, also publishing with a partner. How do you take the decision which games should go with a partner, which game should go with, you know, uh, self-publishing?
So starting out, I feel like going with a publisher is very important. It's not just about the UA, according to me. It's more about the monetization strategies. It's about it's not just the money. You don't have the knowledge of how to do the UA, right? So that comes in with a lot of experience. So we were working with publishers for 7 years, and after that we started self-publishing. And one big thing is that they tell you about industry trends.
Right.
So back in the hyper-casual era, where we published 5 games in a year, five hyper-casual games in a year, we were suggested to shift more to hybrid games,
Right.
and to more work on IP-based games. So at the peak of 5 published games, as an individual self-publisher, we would not make that shift. They see the industry from the top view, so they know exactly how trends are changing. So you get a lot of advice initially. Starting out, it's important to work with a publisher. But when you get knowledge of monetization, when you get knowledge of how to scale your game, then it's a good shift to self-publishing. When you know that you can go through the whole process of the concept till monetization, till UA yourself, I think it's important to learn these things from publishers.
Good point. I know if you are new to something, you better learn from someone who's a master, right? And your opinion on that, Prashant?
So Like Shaurya, we've been on both sides of the spectrum, right? So at Highbrow, we primarily self-publish all of our games. And I think the niche that we found for ourselves, driving simulation, is something that has always attracted a lot of organic attention and interest, right? So all 125 million users that we have so far are purely organic. And I don't think any other niche has that potential today. That market is totally gone, right? So in our case, I think we were very lucky to have something like this to keep the ball rolling. But the whole thought of working with publisher, dawned on us much later, because we thought we will work on different kinds of games, which were not limiting us in terms of design and in terms of monetization. And then when we decided that we would love to make a business simulation game or an idle tycoon game, because it was an extension of what we did as simulation makers, right? We felt we didn't have the right expertise to take the game to the market. And that's when we started looking for publishers to take that game to the global market. And we found the publisher right here at IGDC, right? So 2 years ago, we came here, we were at IP Connect, and that's when we met Boombit, and that's how we got started.
Wonderful. I mean, that makes me feel good. So, do you guys like? Let me have this show of hands here. How many of you know Investor Publisher Connect? IP Connect is what they call. Okay, and yeah, I mean that's a very good segment of India GDC where a lot of developers, they decide, we are very good at the product design and so on and so forth. What we don't know is quite a few things like monetization, maybe a piece to it, and UA and all. And that is when they try to look for publishers and so on. And IP Connect is a very good platform where people generally choose to do it. So highly recommend if you guys do it. Now that said, to question to you, I'll start from you, Prashanth. And you're choosing a partner now, right? And obviously, like you have multiple options too. It's not like whatever, whoever selects me, I'll go with them. It's like you also choose it. How do you decide that? And if you have to give some insights on that front.
So I think you have to look at the past games that they've done. You have to see if they have the genre expertise, and if they understand how to do marketing for that particular kind of a game, right? It can't be a studio that's super well known for a certain kind of games, and then you take a completely different kind of a game to them. Then that'll be like a very natural misfit, and you may not get the best out of that partner, right? So I think past expertise and past success is clearly a marker for deciding who to work with.
Super important. You need to have someone who's an expert in the genre of your game. But also, I think publishers who have transparency are very important. I was speaking to a few studios recently who have published games with, I won't name the publisher, but a few publishers based in Vietnam. And they don't have the transparency of how much money is being spent on the game, what the profits are. It's more like they just get an amount every month and they have to hope that it's the correct amount. You need to have a publisher who is very transparent with what they're doing. You need to be you need to see the clause that you're signing. There are many publishers who sign clauses which are not favorable to studios. So you should if you have a good product, you will have a huge line of publishers waiting to work with you. So there's no lack of publishers in the market. It's about having a solid product. And you can compare how you can understand after a few meetings how the publishers are. And of course, transparency and expertise in your genre, I think the two most important things.
As Shaurya said, I do think reputation of the publisher matters a lot. I would say if you are getting a better deal with not that good publisher's reputation, I should think you guys avoid that kind of publisher and go with the publisher with a kind of fair deal, and go with the really reputed publishers.
Certainly. And I mean, that's important, right? I mean, it's like dating, obviously, right? You need to make sure that there is alignment into the thing, or any other partnership, right? You're buying a house, you want to make sure that or you're renting a house too, right? So you want to make sure that, hey, there is a school near, or is my office near to it? And on those, if I have to put that analogy back to the game as
Because
well,
if
right?
you as a studio are going to put 50% of your time and effort for a long period of time, right? The game may not just start scaling the next day or next week, right?
Yeah.
You have to commit to a certain amount of time period to develop that game, and you want that same, commitment from the publishing partner as well. Signing is just the starting point, right? There's so much to come after that.
So I quickly, one more question to our lovely audience here is there someone who actually sent a game to a publisher and you got rejected in your, whatever the test they do it? So generally, we were, you got, yeah, there are a couple of them. I remember one of them. Yeah. So so a lot of, so gaming is something like we are passionate set of people. I mean, we love games, right? We all love games and we come up with ideas. But it's also a little disappointing and sad that we get rejected too. But I think how do we it's important for us to deal with rejections, right? I mean, because um, the world will not operate the way you want. So how do you guys? I mean, were there any rejections that you had, or any of you? Either, in fact, three of you should comment on this because it's important for the audience to know about how it goes through. How do you handle rejections? Is a
So
simplified word.
we've not tested that many games so far. Like certain games we tested with publishers, they said okay, and we felt we didn't have the bandwidth to work on those titles at that particular point of time. So haven't actually faced any rejections yet.
Lucky you. I want that life. No rejections.
So I'll talk about our company first and then me particularly. So we started the company in 2013-14, around that time. And for 7 years, we had just failures. So not just rejections, we had blatant failures for 7 years. We only burned money for 7 years.
Oh.
And in 2018, we published our first game. And that game reached world number 1. It was very successful financially. So, I mean, see, it's not easy to continue being in the industry after that much failure. But you're one game away from, completely changing your studio. And the learnings that come from one published game are enough to, completely transform the studio. So failures are a part of the gaming industry. You are bound to fail much more than you succeed.
100%.
But that one success can change your trajectory of your company.
100%.
So, I mean, you have to, even me personally, initially for 2-3 years, I didn't have any hits. But after that one hit, it's more like you learn a lot of things from that. So it helps you to progress further. The main goal should be to have a game with very strong KPIs. It's important to know what is going on in the market. Events like IGDC help you understand what are the trends in the market. We have access to the top publishers, the top studios in the country. You can talk, you can understand what's going on, how to improve your game. Form partnerships with studios who are more experienced than you. And if you have a solid product and good KPIs, publishers are always interested.
Sure.
So you will eventually come across someone who will take your game forward. Yeah.
Certainly. But how do you personally, you said you're going to talk about
So
first
that's
studio
what I
first,
said.
right?
So I had failures for 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
Gradually, one game reached a phase where it got good CPI. So it is disheartening. You can't help it.
Certainly,
It's human emotion. You will be disheartened. You feel like maybe this is not the right place for you. So the gaming industry has that. It has the highs are great. Also the lows are very, very low. But if you stay strong and you learn more gradually, you get and like I said, if you understand the trends of the industry, we were looking at games which were very successful at that time. We were trying to understand what was working well in those games and trying to implement it in our games. Not just blatantly copying games from the top charts, but coming up with new concepts, trying to try out new things. So eventually, once you have the belief in yourself and your studio, a time will definitely come where you have a hit. So it's just about staying strong through the failures because a success is very near. It's just one game away. Yeah.
Indeed. Rejection are the key to success, I would say. Because personally, Royal Castle was my 24th prototype that we have tested, and that was the first release with a bigger publisher. So I would say you just have never give up formula and make sure you learn from your failure. That I would say.
Brilliant. I mean, learning from your failure is important because that is how you try to. One of the other founders that I was talking with, and he was saying that I carefully listen to the feedback when someone rejects me and dig into it. And sometimes, it is also important to reach out to the right publisher, someone who is good at something, but you're reaching out to someone, right? So that is important. But um, you have a point, yeah.
Not just publisher, even in general, it's I think a lot of studios, bigger studios as well, are open to share ideas and feedback on your games. If you're open to discuss your games with them, you will get a lot of feedback from them. And if you're open to listen to feedback and improve your game, eventually you will see improvement in the game. So it's more about breaking that inhibition of just showing your game, understanding what might be going wrong. I'm sure there's scope for improvement in every game, right? So I think it's more about breaking that inhibition and actually reaching out to as many people as possible to understand how to improve your product.
Certainly. And you mentioned a point a little while back about um, when you're building games, do you build based on the skill set that our team has, or do we do this little other way, right? This is the current trend, and this is what you need to do. So, do you have any thoughts?
So I think we've worked primarily in driving simulation and business simulation, if I were to include that in idle tycoon games. And what I've noticed is all of our games have this vehicle DNA in it, right? Be it idle tycoon, we still have a game which is a rest stop tycoon, right? Like where you manage a rest stop across Route 66, and there are cars and trucks coming in and going out. So I think that's something that's like in our DNA, like working on games which are heavy automotive centric. And for example, we had multiple other ideas, right? We had a game called Train Station Tycoon, and again that had this train element in it. So I think that's where I personally feel like we choose a certain kind of games when that we choose to make.
Do you experiment? Like you have a team that experiments, like you build the skill set. You're too good at simulation. Do you also have a small, what I call money to burn kind of a team, where you can test out and so on?
Yeah, so like we at least not at the moment, but we do have plan to have one team that's only focusing on these moonshots, right? Like certain ideas that are having huge potential, which may not something we will be able to pull off right away, but we'll still keep working on them.
No, it's a great question, and we had a long phase where we were making games based on purely trends. Especially in the hyper casual era, runner games were doing well. Everyone started making runners. Different genres doing well, they started purely making that. So that is not a right way to go. I think it's important to build expertise in specific niches of the industry, because that's the only way you will make a product which is far better than your competition. You have a certain advantage over everyone else in that genre. But that said, of course, you can't restrict yourself to just one thing. So you should be on the lookout of what is trending in the market, what is some new ways you can improve your game as well, right? You can learn from different genres and use that in your game. So there's no this whole topic of hyper casual. It's such a wide variety of games, and you can use a lot of those monetization tactics in our tycoon games. We have used a lot of monetization strategies in completely different genres. So it's always nice to have an open mind, but yeah, what I meant by trends are even trends in your own genre of games. So say we are making tycoon games, that is a evolving genre as well, right? It keeps changing. There are a lot of there are merges of different genres of games in tycoon. So you have to be up to date with the trends so that you also adjust based on the industry changes. Yeah.
Certainly. And Raj, how do you do? How big is your team, by the way?
It's a 5 people team.
5 people. Before answering the question, let me ask the audience here. How many of you are part of a studio which is like under 10 people team? Love it. Great. Yeah, talk about.
Yeah, we majorly focus on the action hybrid games. So I would say stick to a single category would be the best strategy to it, because Initially we have in the hyper casual era we have tested so many categories. We were into puzzles, we were into tower defense, we were into runners, and at that point we finalized that no, this is not going to work. We have to find our strength, where we are good at and where we are the weakest one. And we found we are quite good at action hybrid games, so still stick to that categories.
And how does it work, on sticking around some more conversation around this point, right? Like, you are working with a publisher, and what are the challenges that generally a studio would have when you're working with a publisher? We talked about here how you pick a publisher, right? And you talked about a few other points there. But now that you started the relationship, then what? What are the challenges that you come across?
So one big issue we face with some publishers is that if I have a game, I've gone to publisher with my game. At the end of the day, it's my product, it's my brainchild, right? So sometimes you face an issue where publishers are very stringent on their ideas, and they don't let you have an open mind in that process. Like, this is what you have to do. Continue to do that. So we personally don't like to work with publishers who are so rigid with their ideas, because of course publishers have a lot of experience, but the passion in which you make your product, that goes down if you are told exactly what to do. Because publishing a game is just the start. The next 2-3 years is where you make the most learnings and the most experiences. So one issue we have faced with publishers is that. Second, like I told you about the transparency, that is very important to us, so that we know on a day-to-day basis what is going on with our game, which are the channels in which we are promoting our game. And Boombit has been amazing with that. They're a great publishing house. So even when we work with studios now, we focus mainly on that. We don't make studios feel like we are taking your game. It's our game, and we know what's right. This is wrong. There is no right and wrong in gaming, right? So publishers just have burned their money enough, and they know what does not work, right? So they can guide you in a way where they'll help you to stay away from things which have not worked in multiple titles. But yeah, this is very important. This is an issue we face with publishers, that they don't let you have your freedom of your own imagination.
Certainly. And Prashanth, you want to comment?
Yeah, so what I feel is, and what I learned from talking to other studios who publish games with other publishers, is that you have to have some clarity on how you should market your game as well, right? You cannot expect the publisher to always take the first step in terms of marketing. Sometimes you have to constantly come up with new ideas and take them to them, or you have to make your own creative sometimes and offer it to your publishers, right? And if you keep doing that regularly, at some point something will click and it will change the whole equation, right? So you cannot just sit back assuming that they will take care of creatives completely. It is your responsibility as a studio as well.
Great. And Raj, you came across any challenges, because you're fairly a small team, and you're building your game, but at the same time trying to think about what's my next idea also, right? So
Okay, so I would say the major issue with the publisher nowadays are most of the tier one publisher have their own in-house studios, or I would say in-house team. So at a certain point, they are like, okay, you make your game at this point, we will take care of the game from this particular point. So I would say, okay, yeah, it's fine, but most of the time the direction of the game has been misplaced, because I have my own mindset towards my game, and they have their own. So sometimes it's mismatch.
how do you navigate that
So
problem?
we have to figure out a way.
Yes, sir. So, guys, we are like few minutes. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand, and our friends will bring the microphone to you. And as the microphone gets to you, I want like 60 seconds answer from each of you. What would be your advice if someone would like to work with a publisher now? What would be your advice right now?
I would definitely recommend it. I wish we had started working with publishers a lot sooner. And the thing is, you have to try a lot of ideas, not get stuck or too attached to one idea. Keep trying, keep failing, and I think eventually you will find something great.
It's important to not get disheartened with some failures. Like you said, keep trying different types of genres of games. Reach out to different publishers. Find publishers with the expertise in your game, and just be open to discuss your game with people all over the industry. In the last 1 year, we've come across so many amazing studios in India with such brilliant ideas. So there's bound to be some global successes that come from India, and we want to be as involved as we can. So even at Funcell, we're very happy to work with studios in a publishing lens, but also just to share ideas, to discuss ideas. We have a lot to learn from publishers. There's some tycoon games in India that have amazing retention. I was recently talking to a few studios. So, it's great. We can exchange ideas, we can learn. So, yeah, I would just say that be more open to discuss your game with people and to learn and to reach out to publishers. Yeah.
So I would say let's go beyond the publishing. I would say most of the publisher, most of the new studio don't know that publisher always negotiate when you have the good product. So always have a kind of mindset. If you have a really good product, always negotiate about the contract. Also, I would say find your strength category first. When you have your strength, then find the publisher who is more into that particular category, who has the same vision. So you can get a better outcome out of it.
Certainly. Great. And anyone who has a question, please, there is one.
It's regarding publishing. So, what would be the responsibilities of the publisher? If like in case I'm trying to publish my own game, what all responsibilities would I have to do? Take on.
You are publishing your own game, and what is your responsibility is the question.
Yeah.
Who wants to answer that? Yes, sir.
Are you self-publishing a game?
No, not right now. I'm developing a game, but I want to self-publish because I know that if I show a prototype to anybody, I'm not sure anybody will have a good retention for it.
First advice, speak to all the people here and the people who already published. Keep talking to them. That is first advice. But Prashanth.
Yeah. So
First, you have to measure your game's key metrics, right? So the moment you put your game out, you have to get a quick measurement of what your key metrics are looking like and compare them with the genre benchmarks. If you are on par with that, then you can believe that you have something interesting in hand. If not, you can continue to work on it. But if you have something really good, you can then immediately take it to a publisher, and then they will be really happy to take it from your hands.
So if I wanted to, otherwise also just self-publish, what would I have to do? In case if I'm trying to publish on Steam.
On Steam?
For example.
I'm not sure about publishing on Steam, but if you have a question about publishing for mobile, I can answer that.
Okay. In Google, if you're publishing on Google Play Store, what would are there any checks that I have to file or something?
Yeah, there should be a checklist if you're talking about, hey, if I'm publishing, what are my things to do it, whether it has to do with Play Store page to creatives to and so on and so forth. There must be,
Okay.
I mean, I would recommend you to speak with someone who already done, but you have a brilliant question. I know a lot of, great efforts. I would say that. Can you have this? This is like a lengthier answer, I would say. So I would recommend you to have a conversation after this panel. But that's a brilliant question, and congratulations for doing that. And someone has a question here. Yeah, right. Anyone else would have a question?
Hi.
Please raise your hand. So.
Hi, this is Chaitanya. My question is for Shaurya. As you guys, as you guys into publishing now, so what kind of validation cycles you are into? Are you more CPAD driven or more long-term retention driven?
No, long-term retention is super important for us. It depends on the genre of the game, if I'll be honest. For tycoon games, for example, we look at games that have 5 to 7% day 7 retention. So to just start out, CPI is not too important for us anymore. It's more about a game that has strong IAP potential and strong long-term retention potential. And then as publishers, we personally believe in just selecting a few games. We select games in which we believe that we can bring in a lot of value. So we involve our own team as well in the product. So yeah, we see games that have good long-term retention, and then we involve our own team. We test it. Like, just to even answer your question, we, as a publisher, we test the game at a smaller scale to see if it has basic KPIs to move ahead with, and if it does, then we involve our own team and we ideate with studios to plan the next stage of the game.
Anyone else who has a question? Yep. Love it.
Cost per install, I would say.
We have a metric what in mobile gaming specifically, since you are from PC gaming, right? So there's a metric called cost per install, and the amount of money that you give to the ad platform to get one install. So that's a key metric, because the more the CPI, the more the pressure on the lifetime value of the user.
Yeah.
So if you spend like $1 to get the user, you at least need to make $1.10 to make sure that you're profitable, right? So so that's how that's a key metric in general that
But we've
happens.
stopped really basing a game on CPI nowadays, because it's more important to have a game that has potential for a very big long-term appreciation of the game. Like, you need to have a strong LTV of the game. You need to have very long retention of the game, because CPI is a metric that keeps changing. You know, every test that you do, as you scale up the game, the CPI keeps changing. You can't base your game just on the CPI nowadays. The lifetime value of the game, like how much money you get back from the game over a long period of time.
Anyone else who is having a question? Yeah, please, sir. Yeah.
I have a small question right now. Let's say I am partnering with the publishers. The publisher and myself would split the revenue of the game, right? How much would the share be like? Because I've heard like 60-40. How much would the share be?
It changes from, it depends on what kind of a deal you're getting, right? It can be 50-50, it can be 60-40, can be 55-35. So it changes based on who you're working with, what kind of a game you have. Do you have a good leverage when you're talking these terms with your publisher? So it depends. But that's generally the market trend.
At what stage do you guys discuss that terms? Is that after the test or before the test?
After the test.
After the test. Anyone else have?
After the initial test, you discuss the terms, but now if you have multiple publishers on board, if you have a good, strong product, you've worked with 3-4 publishers who are interested in your game, and you have good KPIs, then you have a lot more leverage to negotiate a better deal. So yeah, it's important to have a good product initially, then you can go to multiple publishers and you can crack a better deal. So it really depends on your studio. Your past track record is very important. If they see that you're a studio that has consistent hits, then you have much more leverage to crack a good deal with them. So it depends on game to game, studio per studio, and the publisher relations.
A small follow-up question. At what stage of my game development should I approach a publisher? Should I approach it after finishing, or when I have a ready demo to approach the publishers?
When you have the initial prototype ready, you can contact with the publisher regarding your first test.
And do you test it before contacting, or you do it, you'll give that directly?
Okay, so first thing first, when you are into the gaming, you build your first prototype, then you go with the any kind of publisher you want in your category, obviously. So you go with any publisher, just test your game on their dashboard. Like you have to build, you have a active build on the Play Store or App Store to test to have an initial test with the publisher.
I'm not in the development process right now. I don't have a prototype yet. Just ask.
Ask the question. You don't have a prototype?
I'm just in the development process. I don't have a prototype. Just ask for the future users.
So what genre of game do you have?
I'm currently doing a 2D platformer. It's like a level based, but Metroidvania also. I'm trying something new.
Basic, yeah.
Can I say, in the interest of time, that's an amazing question. Can we take that off stage? Because that would be interesting. Because there is next panel waiting, who gonna come on stage right now. So I would love to. But guys, you guys were amazing audience. Thank you so much for having that interactive conversation, and more importantly, Thank you so much, Shaurya, Raj, and Prashanth. Cumulatively, yeah, like 500 million downloads, I think, and this is like amazing. This is all coming from India, guys. Big round of applause to all the panelists here. Thank you so much. I think please be seated. We have the next panel ready to as well, right? And